Breakfast show, 25 minutes past 7 now. Good morning, it's John Warness and Claire MacDonald with you till 9 this morning. Now, environmental campaigners claim a bad traffic situation along the A2 will get worse unless Swale Council gets a grip and comes up with a proper transport plan for the area. The campaign group Protect Kent has joined forces with 9 parish councils along the route to lobby for talks on what should be done over the coming decades. Well, our reporter Alex Ward is live on the A2 in Bapchild this morning. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Claire. That's right.
So what is the problem?
Well, I'm, as you say, in Bapchild on the A2, and at the moment you can probably hear a smattering of cars zooming past in the background, which isn't such a problem. The problem is that many motorists, for all that Bapchild is a lovely village, are seeing too much of it, because when the traffic snarls up, it all falls silent because it just doesn't move. It just snarls up to a complete halt and is static going through the village. There is talk of a so-called Northern Relief Road, which would link up the A2 somewhere near here with the A249. But many people fear that that wouldn't bring any relief, it would just bring in more traffic. So 9 parish councils to the east of Sittingbourne, as well as Faversham Town Council, have joined with CPRE Protect Kent in forming a steering group. Now, Richard Knox-Johnson is the chairman of CPRE in Kent, and he says that its aim is to try to influence what's done about the problem.
We believe that without a proper transportation policy, what would happen is that more traffic would be sucked onto the A2 and so increase the problems that are there already. The steering group really wanted to talk to the Swale Council about their transportation policy and how they were going to carry that forward, because certainly over the next 15-20 years there needs to be a very much clearer idea of what's going to happen to transport in the district.
So this steering group, Alex, it wants to talk to Swale Council, which sounds fair. Has it succeeded?
Well, in a sense, Claire, it's succeeded in talking to them, but it doesn't feel that it's got very far. The group did present a petition to the council leader, Andrew Bowles, who I think you're going to be hearing from in about an hour's time. And it also took part in a consultation and no doubt made its position very clear when it was doing that. It's now asked for a further meeting, and the answer has come back in the form of a letter effectively saying no. The chairman of Bapchild Parish Council, Andy Hudson, is understandably pretty unhappy about this.
We were given an opportunity, and all the residents were given an opportunity to consult earlier on this year, and at that point there were no transport models, there were no transport strategy as such for us to consult on. The next opportunity for us to get involved is after Swale have already chosen their solution, and by which time it's too late.
So Alex, what is the steering group going to do next then?
Well, they're going to keep on trying to influence traffic policy as best they can, basically. They don't claim to have all the answers. They say that sorting out old existing traffic problems is notoriously difficult and controversial. What they're saying is that they don't believe that any of the ideas that they've heard about so far will do any good, and they are concerned that they might actually make things far worse. So what they want to do is sit down with the council and anyone else who might have an interest in this and talk about transport policy for the whole district in the hopes of finding something that could lead to improvements in the long term.
Alex Ward, thank you. Alex Ward, live roadside, as you can hear, in Bapchild this morning. And in the next hour, we're going to be talking live to the leader of Swale Borough Council, Andrew Bowles, asking him why he is prepared to meet with the local parish councillors, but not prepared to talk to CPRE Protect Kent.
State now. Earlier in the programme, our reporter was by the side of the A2 in North Kent. Campaigners claim that the bad traffic on the road will get worse unless Swale Borough Council comes up with a proper transport plan for the area. The Campaign to Protect Rural England group in Kent fears a partial solution like a link road between the A2 and the A249 would actually make matters much worse. It's teamed up with 9 parish councils to lobby for a plan and wants to be consulted when it's discussed. We'll be speaking to the leader of Swale Borough Council in a moment, but first, Richard Knox-Johnson is chairman of the CPRE Protect Kent and also chairman of the steering group.
Our concern was, and the concern of the parishes, was that they weren't putting full consideration on the effects of increased traffic on the A2 with some of their plans. We believe that without a proper transportation policy, what would happen is that more traffic would be sucked onto the A2 and so increase the problems that are there already. We've initiated the discussions and we've already had a meeting with them, and we proposed at that meeting that we should have further meetings. They've declined to take that forward because they say that we're a special interest group And we find that very difficult to understand, bearing in mind that the government is encouraging us and indeed funding us to actually help parish councils with the localism bill.
Well, joining us on the line now is leader of Swale Borough Council, Andrew Bowles. Morning.
Good morning, Claire. Good morning, John.
Morning.
Thanks for joining us this morning. So we heard there from Richard Knox-Johnson. He says he wants to talk to you, but you don't want to talk to him.
Well, that's slightly disingenuous. We've been talking extensively with them, and indeed we had a meeting with Richard and with the parish councils on the 19th of May.
Okay, but the other parish councillors couldn't make that meeting. He's saying, well, they want to talk further about this Northern Relief Road, and they have issues with it as well. I mean, they are a group who care about the local environment in that area, and they're saying that their sort of democratic right is being denied. All they're asking for is a meeting.
Well, that's again, slightly disingenuous, and I better declare an interest here as a paid-up member of CPRE. But there are many, many avenues that elected parish councillors can talk to us. Indeed, our Director of Regeneration went along as guest speaker and took questions at the Swale branch of the Kent Association of Parish Councils on Monday evening. And we do have a regular series of local engagement forums at which all parish councils are invited, A, to submit items for the agenda, and B, to attend. So there are many, many options. But in terms of having special meetings with this particular group, the problem is we're a small borough council. We believe in having a low council tax, so we don't have hordes of officers. There are many other competing groups that have a different viewpoint. It's all very well and good, and as I say, I do admit to being a paid-up member of CPRE, but for those of us who don't believe in creating a lot of houses, a lot of roads, there are other people, the trade unions, the charities that work with the homeless, etc., that have competing views, and we have to give equal weight to every side of the argument.
They're saying that the only chance they'll get to have, they're saying now, so they're telling us, is once this whole kind of transport strategy has been signed off, which they say is hardly fair. They're local, they live there, they want to have more of a say.
I don't know whether this is lack of understanding or being deliberately disingenuous, but we've had a consultation period which lasted several months, which has now been completed. We've had over 2,000 responses, which officers are currently studying and preparing a report to come to members. We have an extensive, a very major transport study and forecast exercise going on at this moment in time, which will be done by traffic experts using computer modelling, etc., which will come forward with a report. At the end of all of this, the Borough Council's elected members will have another meeting to decide which is then their preferred option. We will then have another period of 12 to 16 weeks of consultation, probably early next year. And of course, in the meantime, our regular series of engagement forums with parish councils will be continuing, to which myself and other elected members and officers will be present.
So they will get a chance to comment on your final blueprint before it eventually goes to the council to be voted on.
Very much so, Claire. There will be a period of consultation which will last 3 to 4 months, and I will make an offer now in front of all your listeners that if, as part of that consultation exercise, you want to invite me or a representative of the Borough Council to come back on, we would be only too delighted to accept that offer and come on and discuss it.
Okay, so we could put you up against the people who aren't particularly happy about not being involved in the process, and you'd be happy to talk to them on air.
I think there's no problem with that as long as you invite other people along as well. What I can't be seen to be doing is engaging with one side of the argument only. So you will have to put up those who have counter views as well.
Okay, well we can do that, no problem. We also, since we've got you on,